All right. YouTube says no. Hangout says we're live. I'm just waiting for what's called to catch me up. YouTube. It's always lagging. Come on. There we go. We're live on YouTube too. How better can you get? All right. Welcome live from the crossroads of America to Rick's Life as I See It, a 1-hour talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Also answer questions from you, the listener. Just put them in the chat or email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. Also, this show will be on audio, normally within 24 hours, on Podbean, Stitcher, and iTunes. I think that's about it. I've got a Patreon thing. The address there is in my lower thirds. What else have I got? That's about it, really. I got some other. I got a Spreadshirt page at Rick's Life or Spotted Rick, and my stuff should come up. That's about it. All right, who we got? We got John Brown, Rich, David. I sent you a link, and we got Muscle Dog. We got Tony and Rich Rice doing double duty on both sides. All right. And on my panel tonight, we've got Tony. How you doing, Tony?
I'm good. How's everybody out there doing?
Okay. We got Squib.
Hey.
And, of course, we got the one and only Patriot in the Dark.
Oh, boy, that makes me sound important. Thanks.
It is.
How you doing? Glad to be here.
Yeah, oh, okay. All right, no problem. Jump in when you can, David. Yeah, I was sitting there watching your video, looking at that nice range bag, thinking, damn, I might have a go at trying to do the blind challenge, but I ain't no good at it. But then at the very end, you said, well, it'd be like this because I'm keeping this one. I thought, damn.
I bought several.
I know, but I thought it was funny. You know,
it'll be like that. I've got several of them, and I'm kind of going to play around. But it's hard to do the bigger bags because I got to put the camera up so high. So I'm testing it out.
Well, you got a good job on that last one was pretty good.
Okay.
You know, the magazines, you only saw maybe half to 3/4 of them because the bottom half was off the screen, you know.
Yeah. They're actually for the next bag review because it's got slots for magazines and stuff. That one it's got 3 pockets, and there's I guess you can put 2 AR mags in each pocket, so it's like 6 on the side.
Yeah.
So I found that out afterwards.
Well, it's a nice looking bag, actually. Yeah. But anyway, my thing tonight, because this is actually Rick's Life as I See It, shooting with disabilities. My question tonight, I was going to panel here or anybody else, is when you go to the range, do you do anything different? I.e., like have somebody else put up your targets for you if they're a long way away, or do you have to sit, leg gives out on you or whatever? That was my thing. Like with me, I could do my own targets, but I used my scooter. I would ride up to where the targets go and put them up that way if I used targets. But a lot of times they had still targets that they supplied, and all I had to do was pull the rope to reset them, you know. But I would stand and shoot, but if I got tired, I would sit in the scooter and shoot. With the new hip now, I can walk. I can walk, but I can't walk far because then the back starts hurting. I mean, at one point there before the hip surgery, I mean, I wasn't sure it was the back or the hip giving me the aggravation. But most of the pain was from the hip, I found out. But my back does a good number right now. You know, I mean, to walk for more than, to stand for more than, I don't know, 30 minutes, it starts aching. I mean, if I go any longer, then the longer I'm up, the more it hurts. So normally, I mean, that's what I would do at the range. If they don't have steel targets and I had paper ones, I would, if it wasn't, I mean, if I'm only shooting for like doing defensive shooting, only 7-10 yards or so, walk up there and do it. But otherwise, I would use my scooter and ride up there and do it. So, what about you, Tony?
The steel target thing, I'm with you on. They started when they built the new Cowboy Action. They put steel targets up there, and they said I was welcome to use them. You know, when I was down there, so I find that a lot easier and a lot more entertaining. And partially because part of the time the range is really muddy because it's all new excavation right there between the shooting station and the target line. As far as other things, I bought one of them pneumatic wheel wagons so that I could tote my shit down there instead of carrying it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I haven't used it yet, but I intend to. And when I want to sight in my handguns or rifles, I do that on the indoor range so I can use a chair and have sandbags for rest.
Okay.
When I'm walking down to the outdoor range, I just have to take a break now and then to catch my wind again.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I'm trying to walk and chew gum at the same time here, so you know I'm not very good at doing that. Well, I mean, Squib, you're a normal guy, ain't you?
Well, it depends on how you define normal. Some people would say I'm unusual. Actually, I guess I am let's see, I'm a 6 foot tall, right-handed, Caucasian, Christian male. Is that about normal?
So to the left, you're the scum of the earth, huh?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I try. I look at going to the range as exercise, but it's kind of like golf exercise. It's not real exercise. Yeah, you can go home, you might be a little sore, a little winded, or tired, or you might feel, like you want to sit down in a recliner and relax, or you might feel like you did something that day, but it's not strenuous, aerobic, heavy lifting, sweating. I mean, if you're in the sun, you'll sweat some, but I mean, overall, the weather conditions can make you more miserable than, say, having to walk out there to set targets or having to hold a 10-pound rifle for 4 hours or something like that. But yeah, I don't really do anything to make it any easier for me. I have considered the wagon thing because I've seen that for years, other people doing it, but I just can't bring myself to do it. It's like so many other things. Eventually, I just learned to accept it and embrace it. So maybe, but the thing is, it's just because I carry so much gear, and my family, they all will carry something too when we go to the range, and sometimes I divvy it up more evenly, and it's not so bad, and then other times I end up carrying everything, and they're all just carrying their rifle, and I'm thinking, yeah, they brought me here to be a mule. But I would say, if you have somebody to help share the load, that helps. At my range, they remodeled it. And if you have a handicap sticker, you can literally drive right up to the shooting stations instead of having to park in the parking lot and walk uphill to get to the range. And you've got a much shorter walk to get from the parking space to the shooting station. However, those are the handgun shooting stations, the 10-yard. So if you wanted to shoot 25-yard, you're actually parking further away. I like to see that they make accommodations for that and that they have rules. They don't just let anybody go park up there.
About the range I had in Rhode Island there, I got to give them credit there. They would let me drive right up to 20 yards the targets were, where I could use my tailgate as my bench if I wanted to, you know? So.
I mean, it's good. You get out in fresh air. I mean, well, you can go to an indoor range too, and that's not necessarily fresh air, but, indoor range, I'm definitely bringing less with me. But you get some lifting, you get some walking, you get some standing, some setting, you get to exercise all your senses, you get outside. I've been out there on a negative 20-degree day, freezing my butt off, but I had the place to myself. It was worth freezing. I mean, it's kind of uncomfortable when your fingers don't move anymore. And then I've been out there on 90-degree days with no clouds at all, and it's hot and it's sticky, and the sweat's getting in my eyes. And good thing I keep a towel in a Ziploc bag in my range bag for wiping sweat. But I mean, other than that, I'd say the weather probably does more to make it difficult than any sort of strenuous activity.
That's because you ain't toted what I towed.
What?
Usually it's 3 or 4 rifles and a whole shit fucking load of handguns, plus ammo for all.
The most I've carried by myself to the range is 3 handguns, 3 long guns, ammo, targets, and then obviously, ear pro, eye pro, and all the other stuff that's in the range bag, like tools and stickies for the targets and a bench rest bag and a few other odds and ends. Now I keep an IFAK in there. But at that point, because I've got everything, I'm almost dragging one leg because I take targets on big sheets of cardboard, and then a gust of wind will hit it and want to drag me down the hill. That would be something. Do you guys bring roll-up targets, or do you ever bring targets on big square sheets of cardboard?
My range provides cardboard, so all I carry is roll-ups.
No, my range provided the wooden sort stand with the cardboard backing on it, and all we had to do was staple our targets on top of that.
Yeah, see, I used to bring a staple gun, and it didn't always stick because they give us wood. They've got a wood and styrofoam. It's just that 1-inch pink or blue insulation, like the sheets that you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatnot. I've tried sticking paper in there with the toothpicks. That doesn't really work well. I've tried the staple gun thing. That was the old go-to a long time ago, and that eventually just wasn't working out well. And what I went to was a system of actually putting my targets on a sheet of cardboard and taking plastic clamps and just quick clamping them on there. And it's more stuff to carry, but I can do a target change a lot faster.
Oh, okay. Now, not Squib, Patriot. I mean, I've heard how you do it, but if there's any new listeners, when you go to range, what do you do?
Oh boy. Well, it depends. On the outdoor range, I don't know if it's just a prerequisite. It always has to be flooded in between, the tables and the targets. It's always muddy. I think that's how it works out. Outdoor range, I carry everything. I mean, before I got these fancy range bags, I just used my old Alice pack. I mean, loaded to the gills and, carrying cases too, with that. It's a whole pile of stuff. But it's funny, they let us drive out to the thing, right out, around the building and stuff like that. But, I don't ever care to think about it, but it depends on who's with me, who's my driver, if they're older. If it's my mom, she's a little older. and she loves it because then she doesn't have to walk because she's got pulled knees and all that stuff. So that's nice for them, I guess. But the mud and all that kind of stuff, you kind of got to wade through. But as far as targets, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I use all sorts, just the paper ones, but because I use those my key finders, those usually they have like a little keychain ring, and I hook strings on them and push pins or whatever, tacks. Depends on what where they are. Indoors is obviously no problem because it's got the cable system and stuff, and they've got the plastic, and you just hang them normal, and then with me, I can't just pin that my key finders on there. I have to kind of string them and dangle them off, and hopefully they won't fall off when they're downrange. But so I just use key finders and stuff. That obviously makes it easier for me. The Electronic Ear Pro, and I bring a lot of stuff. Usually it's because I'm so excited to get there. I have 3 or 4 cases, and each one's got several pistols in it, so, and all the ammo in that. And I don't know. So they like me coming because I throw brass everywhere. So
you come loaded for bear, huh?
yeah. So it's really there's no I mean,
yeah.
Physically I can walk anywhere and I don't have any issues that way. It's just most of the time it's just watching out for those poor sighted guys that are with me or around. They're the ones that need all the help because they're scared of that blind guy.
I got to say that this year my range started off from them little fold-up wagons. To the members, and they bought like a dozen of them, and I'm like, that's great, but I want my own because I want to use it to go camping and stuff too.
Okay, so you went and got your own.
Yes.
That works.
You could also probably use one of. I mean, it depends on how your range is set up. If it's if everything's really muddy and stuff, but like the pull luggage, the ones that the carry-ons with the wheels.
Yeah, that's what
handles.
That's what I use.
I am actually fixing to set one of them up as a range bag and eliminate 2 bags.
Well, that's what I use for a range bag. I got a small sort of like small. It's like a small briefcase and a handle, and I just pull it along. Works great. I don't know if it's made to carry the weight I put in it, but it works. Yeah. So that's what I use. What about you, David? Anything special?
Well, first, thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Probably, well, easily being the newest shooter here, it took me and my friend about 6 or 7 months to start learning what to do. We would take every single thing we had. I'd take every magazine that I had, every box of ammo I had, every firearm I had. We had my trunk just loaded with stuff. And then we had to start learning a little bit more discipline. And, we take, 1 or 2 rifles, 1 handgun, 2 handguns. Obviously, we take all our targets. Our range has backstops built with the little yellow plastic, like, I don't know, sheeting that you staple your targets to. You're not allowed to sticky target or balloons or anything. It's just paper targets only.
Okay, yeah.
And so we take plenty of targets, plenty of ammunition. We did get one of those collapsible carts when we want to take some extra stuff with us. I carry a book bag. It's where I got my Ruger logo from that you can see on your screen now. And that's what I put all my ammunition in and our ear protection, eye protection, stuff like that.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, we got through everybody there. So, why I got everybody here, and not a big crowd tonight, but that's okay, is we got in such a deep discussion on Saturday, I forgot to do the quiz. So I'm going to do it tonight. So, and the prize, I've even got the box ready, was this All-American Patriot ready to defend. And baseball cap. I mean, look at it, it's even still got the tag on it. Brand spanking new. So, that's the prize. And it's a mail-in. It's a mail-in tech competition. And the question is I picked an easy one. Hey, Sean, I sent you a link in email. The question is, in the original movie of Lethal Weapon, what sidearm did Detective Sergeant Roger Murtaugh carry? That's it. I want to know what the model was, what he carried. I'll give you a little hint. He referred to it as his 4-inch Smith. That's all I'm giving you. So the answer. So that's a writing quiz for that hat. So, did everybody get the question? Or do you want to? What was the sidearm carried by Detective Sergeant Roger Murtaugh? That was Danny Glover, if anybody can't remember, in the original first Lethal Weapon movie. So, email them into Rick's Life as I see it at gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. And get in there by Friday midnight because I'll pull the winner on Saturday's show. Okay, I was hoping Dead Horse did, but I haven't seen him. So, because I want to do the drawing for you guys who helped me on my GoFundMe thing. You know, for those gun oil, the part from I forgot the name of the Strike Industries. Channel burnt into it, logo burnt into it. I mean, it's a really great prize, but I can't send all the information to Dead Horse, and he worked it out because it was based on the amount of money you donated, the more entries you got. So he had it all figured out how many total entries there were, and we were going to do a drawing to pick the winner, but he hasn't shown up. So, I haven't given up hope yet. We still got 40 minutes to go, so you still might show up. So, anyway, since anybody got any questions or anything they want to say on the panel here?
I have something for you, Rick.
Yeah.
Can I hijack you for a second?
Yeah.
For the blind challenge, just to let everybody know, you don't even know Rick, but the announcement and the drawing for the winner is going to be on your show, on your Shooting with Disabilities, which is kind of fitting. So you didn't even know that. I just surprised it on you, and even if you don't want to, too bad. I
don't mind doing it at all. You just let me know when we're doing it.
Make it. We still got 20 plus entries that need to be done, so it'll probably take a while. Depends on who wants to do it, but I was just going to let you know, and I figured I'd do it right on the spot and put you on the spot. So
no, I appreciate it. Great. I mean, that'd be great.
Well, I'm here now, Patriot, so you can just tell me that I won. I mean,
well, see, I want when I do this, I'm going to put out a video and tell them that that they need to sub Rick too, and check his channel out because this is a good place.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, just real quick, change the subject back to sort of gone off disabilities to a little bit of politics here. I just reading tonight, Levi Strauss, the jean company, applied all the jeans to every town for gun safety for a PSA they were filming. I thought, God damn, that's Levi Strauss is the American gene, for Christ's sakes. But there we go. I guess we don't buy Levi's anymore.
Yeah, Levi's has been on the list. Nike's been on the list. A whole bunch of different companies have been on the list.
Yeah.
If you want to vote with your wallet, and if you don't, hey, that's fine too.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing too. Is here an example. I mean, take Netflix for instance, right? Would you call it going against grain? Like they gave the Obamas $5 million to produce some content for Netflix. Does that mean I give up Netflix? Because I wasn't a great Obama fan, and he tried to get rid of my guns, but he didn't succeed. So I guess it's a matter of do you be? I don't know.
I think it comes down to everybody's personal preference. I've heard a lot of talk about this on different shows. Different people have different opinions. Some people have said stuff like, boycotting doesn't work, why bother? Other people have said, no, boycott because that's the only thing these companies listen to is money. I get where both sides are coming from. I've heard some people say, I'll never buy Levi's again, or some people say, I haven't bought Levi's in 20 years, so whatever. And then other people go, nope, I've always worn Levi's and I'm never going to stop. I don't hold it against somebody if they. I think this is another one of those things where we all have an opinion, and all of our opinions sort of have equal value, even if we don't agree. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, do what you feel is right.
Well, unfortunately, I can't find anybody else that makes button fly. So.
Button flies?
Yes.
Used to like
stick with Duluth Trading. Now on another thing, Budget Guns and Gear Review did his Friday show on Sunday, and I listened to it.
We lost you there for a second.
Am I there?
You are now.
Yeah. Okay. Budget Guns and Gear Reviews did his Friday show on Sunday, and I listened to it Monday, I believe it was. And they did mention the movie Halloween a little bit because Jamie Lee Curtis was in the news saying that she supports the Second Amendment. She's just not for assault weapons and things like that. And she was defending her use of guns in the movie. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen the movie. We went to go see it on Sunday. It honestly, Tony, I thought you wrote this movie because there was nothing in there but lever actions and revolvers. I mean, that's not entirely true. She did have one is a pump action shotgun with no stock and a short barrel. I'm really not big on those, so it wasn't a Shockwave, but I couldn't tell you what it was, what model it was. And they did have a bolt action. Well, there were two different scenes with bolt action rifles, but for the most part, she clears the house with a side loading lever action. Don't ask me what model. I'm not sure. It wasn't a Henry. And she even at one point in the movie says that, she likes a revolver. She carries a revolver around everywhere. She even points it at her own kid. But she says she likes a revolver because it doesn't jam. I mean, the cops are carrying semi-autos, but for the most part, most of the gunplay was with lever action rifles, bolt action rifles, and revolvers. So I don't know if that's their way of saying, see, you can still be a gun purser, still have guns, and just not have the evil semi-autos that only the cops should have. I don't know if that was the underlying message. I didn't see a lot of negativity towards guns. I mean, most of the violence was perpetrated with kitchen knives. I mean, they even ran him over, cliche, right? But I don't always agree with these people in Hollywood that make money doing violent things in movies or making gunplay seem cool or getting these guns to do things that they don't do in real life, and then going back and saying you shouldn't have guns.
Yeah, you mean like the 18-round revolver?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in today's age, you think they could get it right, but I know I've noticed in the last few years some of these shows are getting more realistic with their guns, what they're using, and the way they're using them. They must have finally hired some people who know what they're doing with firearms.
Well, that was just it. I mean, some of the stuff looked a little bit like she had some training, but who was the one who wrote in the scene where she's actually trying to show her daughter that she doesn't have a house that's secure? She sneaks into her daughter's house and is waiting for her in the stairs. And when her daughter comes around the corner, she jumps onto the stairs, points a revolver right in her face, and goes, "Boo!" And it's like that. That's not teaching anybody responsibility. If she had firearms training or the firearms instructor had anything to do with writing the movie, oh, by the way, Jamie Lee Curtis was one of 2 executive producers on the movie, they would have said, "Ma'am, that's really not, that disobeys one of the 4 rules of firearm safety." And so I mean, I just don't know how much if they really, really want to go out there and defend the fact that they make millions portraying firearms in a light, a certain light that makes people desire them, but then turning around saying you don't deserve to have them, then why not do some realistic things with them? Why not really show them as dangerous, or why not follow the safety rules, or why not have? I mean, just, I don't know, make some of the laws that they quote in some of these movies, quote the real laws. I mean, just do something to put your money where your mouth is. But I mean, it's Hollywood; it's all fake.
Yeah, I mean, but then I understand where you're coming from, and I agree with you to a certain point. But it's entertainment. You know what I'm saying is,
Yeah, you're right.
I'm assuming in that particular scene when she done that, it was to get the fright factor in the movie.
Yeah, it kind of was. It kind of was. But your average dumbass will go, "Oh yeah, I could do that to a family member," and not trying to imitate the movie, but just trying to say, "See, I'm showing you how you have no security in your home, and any schmo could be waiting for you in the on the stairs, ready to shoot you." And they would be pointing a loaded gun at their friend or family member, and not obeying some of the common sense rules that we all know.
Yeah. Oh, I understand that. I understand where you're coming from on there. So, anybody else got any input on that?
Realism in movies is kind of a rare thing. I mean, you go back to a bunch of the John Wayne movies, Red River, for example. Supposedly, about 10 years before the Civil War, he's out defending his stuff from Indians with a muzzleloader and a peacemaker.
Yeah. Yeah, it really don't add up.
Yeah, in the Outlaw Josey Wales, one of my favorite movies, obviously, there are a lot of inconsistencies as far as, well, I mean, you can see, if you look up close, you can see that some of the prop guns that are supposed to be cap and ball are converted, but they're using guns that didn't exist in 1865, 1866 in the movie, but only people like us would catch that, not your average,
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we look at it more closely. I mean, put it this way, up until a couple of years ago, until I actually got into firearms, I would notice things like, if he had a revolver and after 6 shots he's still going. I mean, that's impossible, But I look at it more closely now on what people are doing. How when you see them, I mean, even like any show on TV, you see them, sort of like a detective is walking through a room and he's checking out the room. He's got his finger on the trigger while he's doing it. I notice it more now than I did. So,
yep.
What Sean say? How about that Glock 7 in Die Hard?
Yeah, that's been one of the biggest thorns in our side as far as the Second Amendment thing, because people see that, and I mean, Bruce Willis is pro 2A supposedly, and people see that and they go, "Oh, there really are these guns with porcelain barrels that cost more than you make in a month." By the way, Rick, and that you can sneak through these metal detectors. And it's like it never existed.
I know,
And
I know. But people believe it even after all this time. They still believe it. You know. Hey, unknown user, good to see you. So, you got any input on that, Patriot? I know you can't see, but you must hear what people talk about.
Oh yeah, I know all those older ones and stuff. I'm still working on my paper mache Glock, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that, if I was an actor and somebody came up to me and said, "How dare you make a bunch of money off these shoot 'em up, gory, violent movies?" The answer that I would give them is it's make believe. You know, the movie's not real. Whether I shot somebody or I didn't shoot somebody or I didn't reload or this, that, and the third, it's a pretend movie.
but what about the part where you make money glorifying this stuff, but then you turn around and say you don't have the right to have a weapon?
Well, no, see, well, obviously that's a little bit different. Yeah, yeah, obviously that's different. If the hypocrisy is amazing in Hollywood, I think we talked about De Niro. All the money, Bruce Willis, all the money that these people make specifically off of firearms, and then dare to say that, this is the danger and this is what's happening, and
Well,
they claim
that's
to
why
be
they
role
make
models.
movies.
Well, they claim to be role models, and then they don't want to take responsibility. Jay-Z's a role model, but he doesn't want to take responsibility for the guy who's selling crack and shooting people.
Well, see, that's why they make movies like that so that you don't have to have a firearm. See,
Right.
you can just watch it, and they do all the work, and you can just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I tried to say that with a straight face, but it didn't work.
Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to silence my phone. There we go. Okay, actually, unknown user brought it up in the chat. I was going to bring it up, but let's talk about the elephant in the room here. What about those mail bombs? The unknown user says, "Do you think it's a political ploy?" Well, I said earlier in the chat, I wouldn't be surprised it was a Democrat sending them, trying to put the blame on the Republicans.
Or
Well, yeah, none of them went off.
What was that?
Either that or garner sympathy.
Yeah. I mean, none of them went off. So, was it intended to go off or not? I said, was it a ploy? Just to bring attention to, because it's getting close to the midterms, and the Democrats know they're falling behind now, and they want to get back ahead now. See, what they're thinking now is, look how bad those big fat white white males are.
The guy, Dan Bongino, I don't know if you guys know who he is or not, but he had mentioned that he thought it was one of two things. It was either somebody who is completely an amateur and got this idea and was sitting in his garage and put all this stuff together, or it's somebody who wants to get caught. I can't see the way that every package is still intact. There was no damage to any of the package. All these different kinds of things, all this different mounting evidence. It's you. It's almost impossible for you to say that this person's not going to get caught, like almost immediately.
Oh yeah, with today's technology, they got to find something on all that stuff. DNA, fingerprint, or something somewhere.
Well, it's going to be all on video. I mean, if you drop anything off at the post office, they've got you on camera.
They said they did.
It's all got to come from. I'm sorry.
They said the stamps on them didn't have any cancellation marks.
Oh, so they were hand delivered?
I don't know.
Yeah, normally that's You know. But there we go. I mean, whoever done it, I mean, no matter who done it, that person needs to be caught and thrown in jail and never let out, because that is just plain evil. It really is.
With the way things are going now, I wouldn't be shocked if it was a Martian from outer space that dropped. If they came on TV tomorrow and said we've made contact with alien life and they brought these bombs, I'd believe every word of it.
Me too. I mean, even this is the hypocrisy of it all. I mean, even tonight, Schumer and Pelosi both said that Donald Trump, he said to basically, let's unite. This shouldn't be allowed, and all this kind of stuff in his speech. I can't remember what that wording was. And they go, it was just shallow words he was talking. Oh, they didn't mention what Hillary Clinton said. You can't be civil to the Republicans anymore. Maxine Water says, chase them out of town whenever you can. Well, what's the difference?
Hillary made a statement about the packages today, and she even came out and said, look, this is too far. We got to stop doing this. And then the Jeff Zucker guy who runs CNN came out and said it's all Donald Trump's fault. And then, like you said, Pelosi and Schumer are pointing the fingers at Trump.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all about Trump. It's all anything to get out of office. It's what it's all about.
And that is the actual purpose behind this, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
They couldn't do another last-minute shooting because that's already been done.
Yeah. And
they also had to. The reason they couldn't do a shooting or anything like that, they had to attack all these key Democrats because every time you turn on the news, Ted Cruz is getting chased out of a restaurant. Mitch McConnell's getting chased out of a restaurant. One of the Republican offices are getting destroyed. So every single day of the week, there's Republicans getting attacked on the news and no Democrats. Well, now all the top Democrats had bombs sent to their offices. So even Stevens
makes you wonder, don't it? It really does make you wonder. So
I have a lot of respect for each and every one of you gentlemen, and I honor your opinions, and I totally would do anything that I could to help either one of you, any of you guys out. And I'm telling you this because I love you guys. We are in serious trouble. This government that we have is not on our side, and it's only going to get worse. We have to definitely, every second matters. There's my statement for this coming every second matters. Be careful.
Be careful, even with the government we got.
Especially with the government we have. With the government we have right now hates each and every one of us. The Republicans all hate us, and the Democrats all hate us. And we just got lucky that Trump came along and fit into the message that we had, that we're tired of this. We want this nonsense to stop. And Trump came in and, laid it down there and didn't care what people said about him and fell right into the movement that he didn't start. This isn't about Donald Trump. That's what they don't get. This is far, far bigger than Donald Trump. He just fell into the place because of his style of politics. Sooner or later, he's going to be out of office, and the Republicans are going to revert right back to what they were. Look how long it's taken them to give Donald Trump any help whatsoever.
Oh yeah, it's taken. I mean, a lot of Republicans don't even like him. I agree with you. I mean, and thank God, what's his name in the House is going. Ryan. I mean, he hasn't helped us at all.
They have disdain for us. They don't. We are peasants.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, if Trump is only a one-termer, we're in serious trouble. But if he goes 2 terms after after the 8 years are up, unless they got another strong candidate running who can do what we want or believes the way we do, we're going to be in trouble again.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Philo. Oh, Sean, what's Sean say? Trump had the line of the week with, well, conservatives create jobs while Democrats create mobs. Yeah,
That is pretty good.
Yeah, but I tell you, I mean, that is good. But this pipe bombs, because they were pipe bombs, weren't they? I think that's what they said. They were mailed off. You know, is that going to hurt us? Is what I want to know. Is that going to hurt the Republicans in the polls in less than 2 weeks?
The return address on all of them was Debbie Wasserman Schultz's office.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I mean, that was done on purpose, you know. But
I mean, look, they've been going to desperate measures for months now. Desperate. This is just another desperate measure. But unfortunately, they've got the media on their side. So to make it where somebody calls it for what it is, or calls it for what it sure as heck looks like, out in the mainstream, that's just, I just don't see them doing that. But if somebody's smart enough to see all their other BS, hopefully they're smart enough to see this BS. And even if it wasn't the politicians per se getting together and going, all right, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do to make ourselves look better. It was one of their supporters that had the time and the money and crazy enough to do something like this. And that just gives you an insight into what kind of people are going to be out there. I mean, we've already seen some of the violence and other things going on. I mean, how much more is it going to escalate? So if it wasn't them doing this, then it was one of their what's the word I'm looking for here?
Lackeys.
I was going to say nut job follower, but there's a not groupie.
Apparatchik.
It's where you've got this almost like cultish following. The word escapes me. But anyhow, you just got to wonder about the mentality of some of the people out there. And, I've heard the whole thing that we don't have anything to worry about because we're the ones with guns. Well, okay, sure, but still.
Well, that's. I'm not even going to get into that because that could be a 3-4 hour long conversation there. But look. I don't know. Maybe it's just a local thing. I don't know if it's national news or not. But I've heard over the past, say, 2.5 years, synagogues having swastikas painted on them, black churches having crosses burned in their front doors, and all these other nooses being found and bananas being found at black schools. And almost every single time, the vast majority of the time, it turns out to be the black guy that goes to that church or one of the left-wing Jewish patrons to that synagogue or whatever. It's usually some type of inside job trying to make it look like there's a bunch of crazy white racists out there. So it wouldn't. I'm not saying that's what this is. I'm not saying Chuck Schumer mailed all these bombs. But once again, if tomorrow, the news comes out that Chuck Schumer did it, I won't be surprised.
No, me either. But I don't I think even if that was happening, I think 99% of the media wouldn't mention it. Only maybe 1% would. And I don't even think Fox is on our side anymore. So
Fox News has been fake news since the very beginning. Right now,
Yeah.
right now they have the benefit of being able to go rah rah Trump, look at the economy and stuff like that, and then all this scandal that's popping up from the Democrats. If Ted Cruz was elected president and not Donald Trump, Fox News would be fake news just as bad as CNN.
Oh, absolutely. I believe that. I really do. But I mean, we could go on that for hours. But as you said, so real quick, we got about 10 minutes or so left. What is your view on the caravan coming up through Mexico. Now, there is something in the Constitution that says, you can't, something about an army shooting inside it on its own land or its own country or whatever. But are they immigrants, or is that an invasion force?
Well, now, we used to have a U.S. Calvary that was on our own soil all the freaking time.
Yeah, so I mean, there's something in the Constitution that says you can't. They don't.
Isn't that National Guard?
You can deploy the U.S. military on U.S. soil for certain things.
Okay.
We've had the Marines guard the mail before. We've deployed the Marines in L.A. during the riots. And I can remember martial law being declared during one of the hurricanes. And they deployed the Marines from the base right outside of the city to go ahead and enforce that martial law because there were power outages and other things like that. They wanted to be able to fix the infrastructure without having all the people out there. So you can deploy the U.S. military within the borders of the country and use them in certain ways other than just necessarily the National Guard putting out forest fires. But there's limitations on this or that.
Yeah.
I talked to Travis about this last night because I thought him and I we were going at it in a text chat a little bit. Nothing mean or anything like that. But we weren't really. I don't think we were on the same page. And he said that really what we need to do is let ICE handle it instead of using our military to say do something violent. And I can see both sides of it. If our military did something violent, it would not look good on this country, would not look good on the administration, and the people that were ordered to pull the trigger would have to live with that for the rest of their lives.
Yes.
However, if they did that one time, that would stop illegal immigration because they'd be like, we ain't going over there. Those people are crazy. Now, be that as it may, that's not what's really going to happen. After talking with Travis, I kind of understood where he's coming from, and I think maybe what we need is for the executive branch of the government not only to empower our Border Patrol to handle this stuff better, but maybe to better equip them, better fund them, back them up when an illegal does something like, was it years ago they had a Border Patrol agent that was shot in the line of duty, and they let the guy get away with it. I think we need to have that police type presence there that's just short of a military presence, but we need to provide them with whatever it is they need to do in order to arrest these people and deport them. The problem is they'll just deport them, and we'll end up footing the bill for it, and those people will just come back, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. Now, from what I understand, is this caravan says they're not going to get on any buses or any trains. They're going to walk it. The rate they're going is going to take them 20, 30 days to get to the border. If it lasts that long.
What if Trump called the Mexican president and said, if you're really our ally, you'll stop this stuff while it's within your borders? This isn't our problem. Don't make it our problem.
He's already done that.
Yeah, he's done that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's
Well,
cut funding to South or Central America to those countries
Yeah.
so that they would stop it. I mean, you're still going to have people come through, but regardless, they're not citizens of America, so they don't have the same constitutionally protected rights,
Yeah.
which is
So,
something that needs to be.
What if we deployed the military to the countries they came from? What if we deployed our military there and said, if you want to keep sending your refugees here, then obviously we need to step in and do something.
Yeah.
Like other third world countries that we've gone into to either stop terrorism or stop the spread of communism or to keep the peace or to go in there and do the UN's job for them, because the UN can't do anything right. I mean...
Well, as far as them walking, I've been watching the news since I've been home, and every time they show the caravan, they're in backs of trucks, jumping on, tractor trailers. There's a bunch of them walking, but they're not all walking. That's for sure. And another thing that you can pretty much guarantee, the United States military is not going to open fire on a bunch of unarmed civilians at our border. They
I need to
might,
get those water tanks out again.
yeah, tear gas, water tanks, but there's no live ammunition going to be hailed down on a crowd of people. That's not going to happen.
No, I don't think it is either. I think they're mainly there to stop them. I mean, the way
they just need a big long
they broke the fence down to get into Mexico is, I think that's what they're going to stop, the military, is stop them breaking the fence down.
If they deploy the military to support the Border Patrol, and they fall under the jurisdiction of the Border Patrol where they can use their trucks and their manpower and their aircraft for observation and all these other things that maybe the Border Patrol needs more of, to have more eyes on the ground and more people that are able to take these people down and put cuffs on them and throw them in a truck to take them somewhere where they can get processed and then deported. I totally support the use of the military, whether it be the Guard or our
The problem is, I understand we say take them down and put them somewhere where they can be deported. But if you're taking them down and they're on American soil, they have a right.
No, they don't. They don't have any right. They're not American citizens. They're not protected by the Constitution.
Yeah, they don't. The problem is you have politicians up there that beat their fists on the podium and say, we need to give these people blah, blah, blah. They suffered, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know what? Over 200 years ago, our forefathers risked everything to fight for freedom. So if you guys want, get it off your butts, risk everything, and fight for your freedom in your country and make your country just as great as ours. Yeah. But no, they'd rather take the coward's way out and go up here.
I think. Did you guys? I think it was on Tucker. Was it last night or the night before? He was talking to that Mexican TV.
Jorge Ramos.
And he kept saying to him, "How many of these people are you going to take to your house?" And he kept avoiding the question.
Yeah.
He wouldn't. All he kept saying, "Well, that is a good question, but we have to look at the big picture." No, how many are you going to take to your house? He wouldn't answer it. So,
just
anyway,
if there was some way that we could put some type of border up that's really tall, really long, and made out of like concrete that people can't just walk through. What do they?
That's a great idea.
What they need to do is put them all on a bus
at the very top of this thing, string barbed wire, and have it electrified.
Now, I would take a bus and bring them all to Beverly Hills and drop them off. Or I would take them to a nice Washington, D.C. suburb and drop them off.
A very good idea.
And let them start squatting around there.
You don't need a bus, man. They're heading for California.
My thing is, if you want to come to this country, do it the right way. If it takes time and it costs money, oh well. Do it by the book. Do it the legal way. And if you come here, assimilate. Do not expect us to assimilate to you. You assimilate to us. Otherwise, stay in your crappy country.
I wonder if they could do something with the guys that are coming in legally, right? With the proper paperwork, and use those guys to say, hey, we'll give you a fast track since you're doing it legally if you stand down here and push these guys back. That might, anyway.
I live not far from the Washington, D.C. suburbs, and they're already dumping a whole bunch of illegal immigrants around here. Our illegal immigrant population in, say, northern D.C., the little D.C., Virginia, Maryland triangle area is extreme. We had a problem with MS-13 before MS-13 became a slogan.
Yeah.
I already pay too much in taxes for the American citizens that are deadbeats that milk the system. I don't need to be paying more taxes for illegal immigrants to be milking the system and bringing crime and all the other things that they do. If you want to be part of the system, contribute, do it by the book, and be an American. Don't be somebody from another country just living here and then complaining about America constantly.
Our best asset would be the legally, the legal immigrants, the people that are coming in legally, doing it the way they're supposed to. Because I bet they have the most animosity against these people that are doing it illegally. I pretty much could guarantee they probably wouldn't like them guys that are doing it, cutting in line and doing things the way that you're not supposed to.
You said it right there. I have no problem with anybody come to this country as long as they do it the right way. No? Anyway, guys, we're at the end of my show. I don't like running over. I don't know why. I just don't. But I want to say thank you all for being here. And before we go, guys, for you people that were late into the chat, I forgot to do the question for the quiz on Saturday because we got so in our discussion. So there's a mail-in question for a baseball cap. The question is, in the original movie of Lethal Weapon, Detective Sergeant Roger Murtaugh, what was the gun, the model of the gun he used in the movie? The original Lethal Weapon. And I'll give you a clue. He referred to it as his 4-inch Smith. And that's all I'm going to give you. Get them in by Friday midnight, and I'll do the drawing on Saturday. And also, I wanted to apologize. That horse must have got held up again because we want to do the drawing for the GoFundMe for the people that help me with that. I haven't forgotten you, and I'm not cheating you. It will be done. We just got to get it coordinated where we're both here at the same time. So I just want to mention that. I want to say, anyway, before we close, let's go down the panel here and see if we got any last plugs or anything. David.
Oh, thanks for having me, Rick. It's always a pleasure. And everybody, don't forget to check out Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, Rick's Life as I See It.
Thank you. Patriot.
Thanks for having me. And do the blind challenge. Check it out. Check out the range bag and sub to Rick.
All right. Squib.
America, land of the free, home of the brave.
That's it. Tony.
Hey, good day, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Tony. All right. Thanks, everybody in the chats. I really appreciate you being here. I believe Clover is on now. And then Matt, I think Matt's going to bring up the mail bombs, too, in his chat at 9 o'clock. So if anybody wants to carry on that discussion, it'd be a good one to do it there. Anyway, I want to say thank you all for being here. And I am going to sign out now. See you all on Saturday at 3 p.m.